Hello, guys. Welcome back to Pragmatic Revelation. I'm immersed in the side, guys. Yeah, and I'm thrilled to share it with you. It's been a while. Yeah, I'll be talking about suffering, the concept of suffering in relation to God's goodness. Today, I realize recently people have a lot of concerns regarding this topic. Okay, how is our God good? If He's able to harness all this bad, how then is He good? Couldn't He have just created a world that is without evil and suffering? Why didn't he decide just to allow all this? And how is he made good by this? People have a lot of concerns, and today I hope to address those concerns. To the best of my efforts in the moment. And so, yes, suffering. Now let's start with this. Suppose there were no suffering. Yeah, imagine how the world would be. It meant a world without problems. It meant technically there won't be a lot of things to do on the earth, because you realize our very activities on the planet Earth is actually triggered or driven by the fact that there are problems to solve. And so if there are no problems to solve, it means a lot of our jobs wouldn't be necessary. Yeah? If there are no problems to solve, a lot of our jobs will be necessary. And then, well, I kind of see this moving along a path that will probably lead man to rather be bored in and out of themselves. Man may end up bored. I know people are saying, well, God could create in such a way that, well, man has enough to do without suffering. But then what you don't realize it is, as God tries to fine tune, or as God fine tunes to what you want to be done, the world rather becomes much more robotic. It becomes robotic. Now you realize, yes, basically the world becomes very robotic because it's made a certain way, and the design seems to determine how we react and act. So that's it. God, in His own wisdom and in His own power. Now you've got to have this in mind as well. God is arbitrary. He does what He wants, and He deserves it because He created a world. He owes no one a certain kind of explanation here. God actually owes no one a certain kind of explanation. He actually gave you and I an opportunity to be part of all this beauty. If we didn't live, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be asking these questions. And so I asked this question: well, would you rather choose to live or not live? Would you rather choose to live or not live? I suppose you probably choose to live. And it's difficult to even try to be honest with this question, in the sense that because you've lived, you are unable to own the idea of not living. So it's difficult. You probably be dishonest with yourself and say, well, I would have maybe chosen not to live. That's a very big lie. Because you've lived, you actually don't really know how it feels to not live. But let me try it and particularize it all. Draw a picture, draw an image, draw something like that. So you remember those times where you were like around a year old to you were alive, but your level of consciousness was to the barest minimum. And so you are unable to actually remember the stuff that took place in those times because you are alive, but you weren't really conscious. In fact, you weren't conscious. I think it makes sense, and you understand what I'm trying to say. You are alive, but you weren't that conscious, intelligent consciousness. You didn't bear that intelligent consciousness. Yes. So that's how it feels kind of not to live. When today you look back and try to figure out what actually went on in those days, you are unable to figure it out. That's how it feels like here. Yes, so that's it. So suffering is actually very good because that is how we are able to acknowledge good with regards to the contrast it has with evil and bad. We probably would have appreciated, suppose all conditions are the same, suppose conditions remain constant, but then evil is taken away. Have we would probably have appreciated less goodness because I mean there are no bad stuff, so there's nothing to compare our daily goodness with, and so it becomes rather a norm, and then we don't really appreciate the experience is not one that is worth acknowledging. But then you also realize heaven, the concept of heaven requires that you and I have a certain experience. And for us to actually attain that kind of experience, we would have to go through something to grant us that kind of experience. I know you are still kind of, I know some of us are trying hard to be skeptical about the fact that an all powerful God cannot make the world in and out of itself void of evil. But then the world will still make sense and it will still comprise all the things I'm trying to use as benefits or use against the fact that suffering is not really that bad. That it's I also acknowledge the goodness we've got in life. I know some of you are saying that, but then by the design, it's just experience it happens this way, yeah. It's just experience it happens this way. I think God could have created it's just like the angels, yeah. So you see the angels, they are in heaven, at least for those of us who are religious and I agree there are some angels in heaven. We bear the fact that there is no sin there. And so they live righteously. They live that kind of life we are trying to suggest to God, you know. Imagine that kind of life. What do they do? Those angels, the Bible makes us understand all they do is sing to God, bow down to Him, praise His holy name. That's what they do, and they are actually cool with it. I mean, it's a cool thing to do, but I think we have been given much more opportunity than those angels in the sense that we get to experience a variety of stuff. I mean, we've gotten the opportunity to be able to feel and do certain things much more denser than what these angels might have been experienced. Yeah, suppose we were created in that certain way you probably wanted to be created. You realize you have missed all those opportunities here. Because if there are no problems to solve, I'm not sure how the world is actually going to work. You will probably wake up in the morning and there's no. I don't think there will be a drive to even, or I even wanting to wake up for. You get, but we are made the way we are made. We are designed so that we sleep, we wake up in the morning, and there's a drive. Yeah, there is a drive to pull us and get us to solve the problems, to to find meaning, to give us meaning. There is a drive that helps us to attain meaning from all this beauty here. So, measuring on a scale, I find suffering to be far worth it than the world void of suffering. Mm. And so, I know we are also then asking, do we find the earth more interesting than heaven? Now, that heaven actually will be interesting because we've already experienced all this and we carry that experience forward into heaven. That's what will make heaven much more better and pleasant because we already have a certain kind of experience and then we carry that experience along. And that's what that kind of flavor is what makes the whole stuff much more beautiful. Yeah. And that it will just be something else. And even with the issue of the angels I brought up, you realize they get to find much more purpose because of this. Now they get to have the opportunity to also experience from their end what goes on here. They are sent to us. I want to believe at point in time, or I want to believe they have an idea of what goes on here as well. And because it's like you sitting behind the TV and then watching what goes on, you probably might not take part, but it's just another experience on its own, yeah. And so that is it. It's suffering is actually something we all should be grateful for. It's not pleasant at the moment, but we all should be grateful for because it gives us much more meaning, yeah, meaning. It gives us much more meaning. Now, does it denigrate God? No, it doesn't denigrate God, and it doesn't depreciate His goodness. In that, when you put the fact that you live or you are conscious to be able to put all these things you are trying to figure out in perspective, when you think about that opportunity and you compare it to not living, man, I want to believe you'd rather choose to live. Mm. And then life is the most precious thing all of us can have. And once we have life, it's substantial over everything, including suffering. The gift of life is substantial over suffering. And so it's great. It's great to live. The gift of life is, man, it's wonderful. I just can't say enough. The gift of life is actually very wonderful. I just need to underscore this because it's that important, it's that important. So I just need to underscore it. So that is it. Suffering is just good for you and I, and it doesn't denigrate God in any way. After all, the guy, I mean, God created the world, he does what he wants with it. Who are we to denigrate him or draw conclusions on the fact that he made a design a certain way and say he's not being good? So he's given us the opportunity to live just so we can tell him he didn't do a good job. He gave us an opportunity and now we come back to say he didn't do a good job by giving us the opportunity and the dynamics of the opportunities and all that. We are here trying to lambast God. We are trying to vilify him for the opportunities he's given us. So that's it. I think it's just as simple as it could be. Yeah. So that is it. It's an exciting time and moment to live, and I hope all of us share the beauty of life and then make the most out of it and hope for the best in the future. I'll see you later on. Peace out and have a great time.